Hello everyone, this is Dr. Kavya here. Hope all of you are doing well and sticking to your study schedule as discussed in my previous video. Today I am here to have a small discussion about very important aspect of memorizing things through spaced repetition. I think most of you have heard about it but do not know how to apply it in your study schedule. Let's discuss everything that one must know about spaced repetition in this video. Without any further delay, let's get into the video. Spaced repetition is an evidence-based learning technique that is usually performed with flashcards. But in general, we can just simply apply it to your notes which contains important points that we wish to memorize on a long-term basis. It is devised in order to exploit a psychological spacing effect. It leverages a memory phenomenon called spacing effect, how our brain learns more effectively when we space our revisions. Let's just quickly know the benefits of spaced learning technique. It makes learning easy, and this way the brain has less load of information to take at any given time. It facilitates long-term remembering. It's very important to be specific about this because spaced repetitions over time facilitates long-term memory recall. It makes learning more interesting, and it is also an active information of storing your memory. What is exactly the spaced repetition, by the way? Spaced repetition is a learning technique that incorporates increasing interval of time between subsequent reviews of previously learned material in order to exploit the psychological spacing effect, as I have already told you. This technique allows you to store in information in your long-term memory instead of short-term memory. Okay, now that we knew what is spaced repetition exactly, we also want to know how does it help. As you can see, there is a graphical representation of how spaced repetition works and what is the curve of forgetting after your first revision. As you can see, the curve over here, the blue line, shows you the curve of forgetting the information that you have read once, and the red lines are the curves for the number of repetitions respectively for the first, second, third and fourth repetition respectively. As you can see, after the first repetition, the memory retention is somewhat better than one-time reading. Then as your spaced repetition progresses, accordingly by the fourth repetition, the curve reaches a plateau where you can see it is somewhere near 75 to 85%. It means when you read any subject or any topic, the short-term memory doesn't help for long. After a few weeks, you completely forget the topic and cannot recall it even though you have studied it very well. Only by this spaced repetition, you can recall what you have studied even after months because they go into your long-term memory by 80% approximately. Now let's right away go to the intervals at which you need to space your revisions. To memorize for a long time, your first repetition should be right after learning any new topic, and second repetition should be followed by after 20 to 30 minutes, and third repetition should be after a gap of 1 day. Fourth repetition should be after 2 to 3 weeks, and fifth repetition should be between 2 to 3 months. When you start your revision, also start practicing MCQs, and then only you can gradually see the improvement in your memory recall by every repetition, and finally you'll get all of the incorrect previous questions to get corrected by the end of this spaced repetition schedule. According to major researchers, the spaced repetition improves the long-term memory and recall by 80 to 90% if followed appropriately. What is the deal then? Just swarm through your tough topics and weak areas and start your spaced repetitions ASAP. And also before going, kindly like, share and subscribe for more interesting and useful videos to come. Thanks a lot guys. Bye. Take care. Happy preparation.